character actor. The guy from Daniel Day-Lewis is incredible, but the other guy from Die Hard, what was his name?
Bruce Willis.
The British guy.
Oh, Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah.
Guy coming to Shooting Buffalo is an incredible character actor, John Turturro. He's coming here for this movie they're doing now. He's incredible. William Fichtner's a great character actor.
So being more themselves in whatever role they
You guys
play.
got
is that
this
what
big
makes you a
misconception.
character?
Everybody's themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on. Well, I'm just playing. No, you're not. We need 100% of you in the character. Then if we have to add some other elements or take something away, we can. But if you can't start with 100% yourself, you have nowhere to go. See what I mean? So no, it's not, oh, I'm playing something. No, you're not. Just be 100% you in this. Think of all the people when you meet them in person, or if you meet the actors in person. It's a lot of them. Okay? It's them.
What about Christine Baranski? I think of her in Sybil and Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
So she would be a character actor.
Yeah, character,
Yes.
terrific, tremendous,
Yes.
great actress. Yeah, that's a character actress. Yeah, she's not the lead, she's the characters that support the lead. You see? And sometimes the characters are the leads. Like in Mike and Molly, those guys are both characters. You see? Or in Seinfeld, character, George, character, the tall guy, Kramer, character, and then Jerry, the lead, and then the girl, the lead. But there's characters supporting the leads. Yeah. Yes?
I have a quick casting question for you.
Back to casting, because we all want to be in movies.
I know. So,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
that's right. If I'm shooting a film and want to get Fichtner attached to it, right? So, if I were to contact you for someone who has a really good reputation, right? If I approach you and show you the script, and do I need to mention the budget to you at that moment, or are you going to move off the script to reach out to them?
You only reach out to people when the money's in place. Okay. Nobody's going to pay attention to you if it's not. I mean, the guys that know what they're doing are the ladies, okay? I do that myself. I have 4 screenplays in the book.
Yeah.
Right now. The way to do it is you gotta get a hold of the actors or a producer that's got to get interested in it. If you're going to do your own movies, you got to have money in an escrow account to be taken seriously. I don't know any other way to do it. I wouldn't approach any actor on anything unless I know the person giving me the material is legitimate. Now, everybody says, well, I got the money. No, you don't. The money's only there when it's there. The people the people that do this, they know what's real and what isn't.
Right.
So approach them on your own. That's what I would say. Here's the other thing you want to really keep in mind. There's no set way to do it.
Okay.
There is no set way to make it in this business. You got to just have courage. But you got to know what you're doing. I can tell a story. Yeah, I have a couple good stories, actually.
Good.
I was 23 years old. I went to Colgate, so I had a pretty good school. I was getting my MBA in New York City, working at a bank. I quit, started bartending. My father said, well, at least you have your degree, so we're good. So I studied for 2 years with all these really good people. And I just, remember this, I had a buddy named Silk. He's done a lot of movies. He's in White Man Can't Jump with Me, Blue Chips. He's done a lot of film. So we were playing basketball in New York City at the Y, the McBurney Y. And goes, if you're ever in Miami, just tell the casting director you know me from Miami Vice. I go, oh, okay. So about 2 years later, I fly down to Miami, stay with one of my friends, and I go into the casting office. I just walk in. I go, excuse me. Yes. I'm looking for D. Miller. She goes, I'm D. Miller. I say, hi, D. My name's Frank Rossi. A buddy from New York, Silk, said if I'm ever in town, look you up. Oh, I know Silk. She goes, well, what are you doing here? So, well, I'd like to be on your show. She goes, Frank, we're the #1 show in America. I go, I know, that's why I'd like to be on it. So she goes, you came down here, you walked in my office, you don't have an appointment or anything? I go, no, ma'am, I don't. And she just looked at me and I go, uh-oh. She goes, let me see the headshot. So she takes the headshot, she turns it over like you said. And she goes, you study with all these people? And I just looked, I go, yes, ma'am. Never lie in your resume, ever. Don't have to. Yes, ma'am, I am. She goes, okay. She goes, can you read? I go, I'm okay. That means can you do an audition? I go, oh, okay. She gives me the material. She goes, why don't you take, how much time? And I go, about 5-10 minutes. She goes, why don't you take about a half hour? It's all right. So 10 minutes later, I come back, I read. Again, I knew what I was doing. Got it? I'm gonna stress that a million times today. You gotta know what you're doing or get lost. Does that make sense? So many people don't. It's like, are you kidding? So she goes, can you come back tomorrow? I go, yeah. Okay, sure. So I come back the next day and I go into the room. Now there's 10 people staring at me. And one of them was John Nicolello from Buffalo. Now there was this great writer and producer named Anthony Yurkovich who did Miami Vice, who I had never met. And I didn't know anything that these guys were from Buffalo. So Anthony, he wasn't in the room. And then Al Ruggiero, another great writer from Buffalo, he was writing the show. I didn't know him either at the time. So I read, and then they go, so I'm leaving. And she goes, you're going to be at this number? Because back in the mid-'80s, they didn't have cell phones. So she goes, you're going to be at this number? I go, yeah, you're going to call me? She goes, yeah, I think so in a couple. I go, oh, okay. So 2 hours later, she calls and says, you got the principal role. You're going to be in a Porsche. You're going to have a machine gun. You're going to go on the beach. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're a principal actor. You got to join SAG now. And I got on. This is July. Anybody ever been to Miami in July? Don't. So I get on the beach. I just get on the beach. I must have ran 5 miles, lost like 8 pounds. I thought I was going to be a star. But the point of the story is that's one way to get there. You see what I mean? Blue Chips, which was with Shaq, Nick Nolte. Okay, it was a Paramount film. Bill Ficken, right? Billy Friedkin directed it from The Exorcist and the French Connect. Great bunch of people. It doesn't matter now. I just told a guy that was one of the producers that was going on the lot at Paramount. You know those big signs that say Paramount? You know, the Paramount lot where it has those pillars? I said, sir, I'm trying to get in on Blue Chips. Not doing it. I can't jump, but they won't let me in. The guy doesn't, I can't get a hold of anybody. Would you mind if I just walk in with you and pretend I know you? He goes, well, how you want? So you want to sneak in? I go, yeah, I'll just improv. You just pretend you know me. This was like a big producer that I'll never say who it was, but I didn't know him at the time. He goes, yeah, okay. So we're walking in, and I go, so Jim, okay, I think, okay, if your son really wants to do that, head to that house. So we're doing an improv all the way through, and he's just having a good time. So I go in, I get through the gate with the security, and then I walk into the casting office, and I knock on the door, and all of a sudden this guy, he's a great casting director, no question about it. His name is Lou DiGiamo. He's done a ton of movies, big ones. I knock on the door and he goes, oh geez, Rossi. So I go, Lou. He goes, what? Blue Chips. I can play Charlie. I think I can do it. I got it all prepared and everything. And he goes, so, Mark, put Rossi on tape. I'm going to lunch. Now that's tough because now the casting director's leaving and I got to be put on tape with somebody else. So that's a little, disconcerting. But that's fine. So I do my thing and I make my choices. And this is absolutely true. 2 weeks later, Billy Friedkin is looking at the videos. And I was helping another actor who got one of the leads. He goes, Billy, hold it, that's Rossi. He goes, who? That's Rossi. Who's Rossi? He coaches the kids from South Central LA. Basketball. I was coaching basketball for the YMCA. He goes, he coaches the kids. He's good. You know what? Okay, he's good. That's it. So there is no way to do it. Except to know what you're doing when you get the shot. Same when you're writing. If you want to write, you better learn how to write. 90% of the people don't know how to write. Look, get the books, read the books of the great writers. Read this, Save the Cat if you want to do a screenplay. A Writer's Journey. Learn literary regression. Learn how to write if you want to write. You just don't write. I don't teach people to do that. You just can't. Like even the kids, I teach kids 9, 10, 11, 12, all kinds of people, adults. You got to learn what you're doing. I've noticed that a lot of people just don't know what they're doing in this business. I'm like, why? So I'm kind of a big advocate of knowing what you do. Then it's a lot easier when you walk in. You don't have to push it. Okay?
So when people are coming in for roles for casting,
Back to casting again.
do you have to do a monologue at each side? So what's the normal procedure?
Every director wants to see what you can do with their material. Yeah, we all have demo tapes, but so what can you do with this material that's in front of you? So I always tell young actors too, don't show a demo if it isn't amazing, but if it's an amazing demo, you don't need it. So for the rest of us, think of it this way. If you are on tape in my office with the other 20 actors, all things are equal. Aren't they? Same camera, same lighting. I'm reading with you, everything's the same. You start throwing in demos and they're not good, then you just lost them. Don't use the demo, get on tape for what they're doing right there. That's the best way to do it. Okay, that's what we did on Marshall. Put all these people on tape here. Director looked at the tape, went right off the tapes, goes, yep, yep, yep. Because that's what they were looking for. You understand? So demos are a little misconceived. They're not correct. Demos are good to get representation. Or we just hired for Brook a really tremendous actress named Charlene Amoya from Buffalo, who's in LA. She just played one of the nice roles in Brook. So Bill Fickner, we Skyped her, and then we Skyped a call back. Does anybody know how to tape Skype? That's just like on a camera. You know how to do that?
You can.
You have to get the application out of that.
There's one that's on top of it. Like you can that'll record what's going on your
So you can actually record an audition on Skype and have it.
You might be able to put it this way: you can record it with a different software that's recording everything.
Because I recorded it on my video camera. That's all I know.
That's nice.
I don't know how else to do this. But so what? She got the part. Good. Terrific actress, has about 100 credits. But Bill did look at her demo online and really liked that on top of it because it was a real difficult role to cast. He thought she was great. But she has a great demo because she's done How I Met Your Mother, this film, that film, all these different things. That's different because her demo is phenomenal. So that just augmented her read. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Don't use a demo if it doesn't help you. Yes.
I want to go back to ask her a question about approaching you as casting director. Okay. Some of the films that were shown here, it's the nicer ones, $1.5 million budget, say.
That's great.
Well, my point is like if I were to approach you and say, this is a $500,000 budget, is that I've got it in escrow. Is that worth picking up the phone for someone like Fickner?
No.
Okay.
No. Is that? I mean, because even though I know him well, I don't feel like I would approach him on stuff unless it was my stuff because I wrote something about the UD football team.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard that story, the 2008 football team that in 1958. Well, I'll tell you why. I mean, I'm the wrong guy because I want to approach Bill on something I have. Okay. And yours might be great, but like a really wonderful guy, Tom Fontana's from Buffalo. Great writer, great producer, ton of stuff, just an awesome guy. He said to me one time, he goes, Frank, I know you're a good writer and everything, but I got my stuff. And he was being nice. He brought me in for everything, but Tom's good. Homicide, Life on the Street, Oz. I mean, this guy's a great writer, producer. But he said, he's trying to do his stuff. So unless you have a story better than the one I have to give it to somebody, I would rather do it for myself. Does that seem selfish?
It is what it is.
What's that?
It is what it is.
It is selfish. Well, no, I want Bill to play this guy in a UB story. I mean, I can pitch you.
Yeah.
I mean, and then learn how to pitch. If you guys are talking about writing, you have to know how to pitch within a minute and a half of your story. You see. So, but you can do it on your own. Figure it out. I mean, you don't need me, that's for sure. Do you know what IMDb Pro is?
Yeah.
No, not IMDb, IMDb Pro.
Yes, it means.
Get the contact. Call him up. Not him, his representation.
So I've been listening to a bunch of interviews where people have started to discern between managers and agents and who you're supposed to get in touch with. If somebody has management and an agent, And I had heard in one of these interviews that if you approach an agent, they have a legal duty to, even if they say this is going to stink and you should say no, they have a duty to say that you've been approached with this script. Is that true?
They won't take your script. They won't read it. They'll send it back. So you won't even get that point.
So when you're saying approach I'm challenging you on that one point. So if I want to go to for myself, I go to Pro and I see his representation. I contact them, but they're just going to reject it, correct?
Maybe.
All right.
There's no set way.
So in other words, there's no difference between a manager, agent, whoever.
They're the gatekeepers. They don't need to hear from you.
Okay.
Because they don't want somebody to say, you said you were going to do this. Or Bill said he was going to do this. You read it. You did this. You took it. They don't need that. See, everything and all you writers in here, who's a writer? You got to register your stuff. Take it to Writers Guild, register. Put it in an envelope, federal, in a post office thing. Seal it, send it to yourself. That's a legal document. But it's really hard to get people to look at things. I'm just telling you that. It's really hard. And then, especially if they got their own stuff. You might have something great. You might have the next Gone with the Wind. I don't know. And this is Bobby Moresco, who's he was my mentor. He's one of my favorite people. I've known him 20 years. He wrote Crash and co-produced $1 Million Baby. He goes, Frankie, just remember one thing. I'll never forget this. Well, two things he told me. Nobody knows anything. That's right from an Oscar winner's mouth. He knows a lot. He knows how to write. Big time. And you're right. But that's the one thing. And he always said, write into your problem for your writers. Just think about that. Don't write away from your problem. Write into it. Those are the two things he taught. So, nobody knows anything. What's your first name? Greg. Nobody knows anything? Figure it out. I took my scripts and I snuck into 15, this is just 4 years ago, in LA trying to get one of my movies done. I just walked into all the production companies with the biggest people. Guess what? Never heard a word. I tried. I'm one of those guys. Just don't be disrespectful. Don't lie. But if you got something that you believe in, well, get it covered too. You guys know what that means? You got to use professional people to cover what you have, your scripts. You can't just think it's great. You got to get it covered. So I use a couple of people in LA. They're really great at it. They'll just break everything down and tell you what you actually have. You see, so you want to learn how to get coverage for your stuff. Okay?
So what happened when you walked into those production companies?
They never called me.
I never called you.
Nope.
You didn't. So you just got to like the receptionist.
Well, a little bit farther.
Oh.
But I know some guys. And you try that, and then the tough part is, too, they say they're going to read it, and then they don't. And you spend 6 months on it. Just never give up. But you got to know you have something first. You understand what I'm saying? Most people don't. And I've written 16 screenplays. I think I threw out 8. Okay. I just finished a book on, it's called Victims of Circumstance. It's about the Richard Mack guy that got killed here a year and a half ago from the escape prison. Him and his son's mom. I'm going to try. I'm going to get it to where we got to get it to. We got stuff to do with it, but you got to keep trying. You can't take no for an answer, but you can't go out there till you have something that's real. And most people are afraid to get it checked by others who are going to tell them the truth. You see, you have to have the courage to do that. Okay, that's just what I recommend. Just gotta go for it because everybody's got strength.
Have you sent anything to Blacklist? Like they'll provide some level of coverage, but are do you?
I did the Blacklist for a year and a half.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. Same here.
But that doesn't mean somebody else won't get something. And I'll just pitch you a story because I guess I'm the only guy up here, right? So here's a story. You want to help me? How about this? But it's $18 million. 1958 UB football team, private institution back then. They win all their games. They beat the number 10 and number 13 team in the country to go to the National Bowl game. There's only 7 back in 1958. This is going to be on ABC against Number 2, Florida State. Okay, only 7 bowl games. One problem: 2 weeks before the game, they get disinvited. You know why? Because they had a black athlete.
You just died that time. You just died recently.
I know him very well. So Willie Evans, terrific, wonderful man. So the whole team votes not to go. 50 years later, to the day, Willie's up in the press box, the UV football press box. Bob Rich Jr., the only guy that owns the Rich product place, he loves the guy. So he has him. Willie goes around with the team. He speaks before all the games. They win 4 miracle overtime victories. Beat the number 10 team in the country to go to the National Bowl game in Toronto, where Jesse Jackson's speaking. The night Obama got elected at 7:40, they win the game. Willie looks down, he starts to shed a tear because this is the first time in 50 years they'd get back to a bowl game, right? You pan over, you hear the crowd roar get bigger and bigger, you see 2 heroes. You see Obama come on the stage, and you see Oprah Winfrey crying and Jesse Jackson. And then you see Willie cry. So a sports writer comes up from New Orleans to do a human interest story on Willie, and go through the season for like 4 or 5 weeks. So the night before the big game, he says to him, Willie says to the guy, hey Maggio, what are you doing here? You're not here just for the story. Because you're right, I'm not. What are you doing? I'm here for forgiveness. What are you talking about? It was my father who disinvited you 50 years ago. They go back to Orlando 2 weeks later. The guy's 87 years old, dying on his deathbed from prostate cancer. He asks Willie for forgiveness. Finally, he says he's sorry. This is a true story with Willie. I love Willie. He's a great guy. I said, Willie, what do you want on your tombstone? And he said, I'm finally at peace. Only an African-American male man would know what that means. For him, I understood it. Being a ball player, you understand it, because there's, when you're on a team with people, there's no racism there, man. If you can do it, it's not anything about that. So he goes, 2 days after he forgave that guy, he calls me up, he says, Frankie, take that off my tombstone. Okay? Is that a good story? I got to go freaking knock on doors in LA to get anybody to look at me. Yeah. Welcome to the world. And here's the cool thing. I played football at Colgate 30 years before I played. The head coach of that 1958 team, Oppenheimer, played the same position that I did and the same number at the same school. My head coach at Colgate, Freddie Dunlop, who I saw about a month ago, I thought he passed away. That he was there. And he was the assistant head coach of the 58 team. I spent an hour with him. He knew everything about it. I just sent him the script, and he was like, wow, you really captured these guys. So you want to know what you really do? That's the story. I think it's a great story. Got to knock down doors. Beg people to read stuff. That's what you do. Sorry, that's how hard it is.
I'm not against it. I'm asking you.
That's how you do it. It's that tough. I got 3 more. Just as good, but it don't matter unless somebody sees them that can get that kind of money.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so, Frank, you've got stories that talk about Buffalo. Things that happened here.
Well, I guess. One's Father Baker.
Well, I know the other one.
Story.
Yes.
One's about my dad, the immigrant from Italy. That's true.
So the question I'm asking is, with this Renaissance in Buffalo, with the productions coming through, people like Reggie Hudlin coming here, you knowing them, are we closer to getting the story of Buffalo told, whether it's your story or the 8 billion other stories about the city?
No.
Are we any closer because of these productions coming through?
No. But we're already there. How about that? Closer to what? You can get a story told. My story's not about Buffalo. No. It's a human interest story. You guys got to remember that. Story matters. It's not about Buffalo. These people just happen to be here. Father Baker's an interesting story. It's called The Unwanted. He's the first pro-life. That's true. He's the first pro-life guy in the history of the country. Because this is true, actually. So I wrote a screenplay about this guy, who was pretty cool. At his funeral, there were 500,000 people. In 1899, 1902, there were like 200 sets of, I don't like to say it, but they found young people, like little babies' bones in the canal when they dredged it to dig it deeper. There was no abortions back then. And if you had a baby out of wedlock, you were ostracized so badly, it's worse than having leprosy. So some of the women used to take the babies when they were just born because there's no way that they could survive. He found out about that, and then he just led a crusade. That's not about Buffalo, that's just about a guy. See what I'm saying? My father was 5'4". They came from Italy at 14. They put him in the second grade because he couldn't speak English. Then they made fun of him because he spoke the Italian that way. You see? Because he was short and all this other stuff. It's not about Buffalo, Scott. It's not about Buffalo. It's what's the story about. You see what I'm saying? You know, victims of circumstance about Nick Harris and his dad. That's about a really terrible situation where these guys were really born under unbelievable circumstances that determine their faith in a way. It's not about Buffalo. It's not about Buffalo. It's about the story that happens to be here, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you can always do documentaries if you're documentarians, then you can do anything you want about Buffalo. But you can't do a story and say it's about Buffalo. Nobody's going to buy that. You see what I mean? It's got to be about humanity. It's got to be about the people in your story. If that makes sense. Okay.
So getting back to casting, when you're reviewing the
Back to casting. I want to be in a movie.
That's the thing though. Anyway. So when you're reviewing acting and stuff, does the casting director look at all the submitted material? Did he go look them up on Facebook and Google them and do
Nope.
it in a database? Or?
Nope. What do I do? I can only tell you what I do. Marshall, we had 315 tapes. I look at the best tapes, I organize them on Dropbox, and I give them to Reggie. Okay, that's the director. And then I don't say a word. Now, I have my first choices first, but you don't say anything because it's not about you. So you give the man or woman, it doesn't matter, whoever it is, you just let them do their thing. And then they tell you who's got the call back, who they want to cast. It's all about the tape.
But getting to that point, you're saying the tape they made once they got called in?
No, not the tape they made, the tape I made.
Okay.
I'm coaching you in front of this. So I'm coaching you as we read. I'm reading with you.
But these were people that were called in.
I called them in.
Okay, so can I ask you to take it back further?
Right.
You got other submissions. A lot of people were sending them in. I know you sent.
No, they're not. Submitting to try to get in.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the process, people are applying. I know you look at the headshots, but
Right.
when you're say you're getting 300 emails with resumes and headshots.
Can't look at them all.
All right, walk me through it. What are you doing? Let me ask. What are you looking at?
Well, first you get the people you know. Then you have the agents call you and say, these guys have these credits. And then you say, okay, and then you trust certain people. You say, okay, looking for this, who you got? Okay, Frank, here's 3. Ready? Go. Boom, boom, boom. Got it. See this one. So you got to talk to the people you know to get the people. Submissions that you just send in. Nobody just says, send in your pictures to this address. We're going to look at all of them.
Okay, so you don't know the people. You don't typically.
No. I'm very fair. That's why yeah, I don't care if you study with me or not. If you're great, you're coming in. I don't care. I had a girl that I've been teaching 6 years. She's in Colebrook, Danny Licata. She's playing Andy. Tough role. She's one of my best students. She's phenomenal. She just worked with Bill Fickner. She's got 2 great scenes.
So you're going through the submissions and you're looking at what?
I said, I've always been this kind of guy. Find the best. If you can't hang with them, too bad.
But how do you know? I guess that's what I'm trying to grasp.
Well, we got
You have all these
16.
things
I'll get to that. I got you.
Okay.
So we got 16 young women that came to read. I said, who's in Pittsburgh? So I called my guys in Pittsburgh. Give me your best one. I said, Danny, you're one of mine, but you're going against the best I can find. And you know what she said? That's cool. You always want to go against the best. That's the way it is. So I brought in 16. She beat them all out, and she got the part. Who do you bring in? You bring in references from people that know acting. You bring in theater people. And you bring in people that have a great headshot for the role you're looking for.
Okay.
I bring in the most amount of people. Just from Buffalo alone, 175 for Marshall and 150 for Billfield. I bring in the ones who can do it. I don't care where they come from. It does not matter to me.
Yeah, as it should be. So you're looking at the headshot and their experience?
Yeah, or the
more so
look.
headshot
I can
first?
tell from a headshot a lot.
Okay, you did say that.
I can tell from a headshot a lot. Why? Because I've been shooting headshots for 30 years myself. I know we just shot today down at the studio of the Phoenix Theater. I had 14 of my actors shooting headshots. And I just know from a headshot. I can't tell you guys, headshots are so important. And they got to be professionally done. So I love to use Buffalo anytime you can, but there's a guy that comes from Cleveland that's so good that I got to use him. You know what I mean? For the actors, because he's the best. He charges $275 for 2 looks, which includes hair and makeup, and he's phenomenal. I would love to use somebody from here if they could do what he does. See what I mean? So I kind of like to help the actors too, because I'm kind of the guy that you may not have heard of it, but I'm kind of the guy you go to so that you don't spend a lot of money you don't need to spend. Get my point? So it's like, no. These are what headshots are really for. Once you get the headshot, you go to an agent. You might pay for their website. That's it. You don't need to take the classes or do this or do that. If they really want you, they'll send you out and then they'll take your percentage, which is essentially 10% on union jobs and 20% on non-union. So those are the only agents I work with, because I know a lot of agents in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, all of it. So I kind of help the actors along with that too, so that they learn what it's really like, how the business works. So you don't spend thousands of dollars that are a waste of your time and money. So I'm a big fan of that one. I don't like that. Because when I first got to New York, when I was out of playing college football, at Polaroid, and I went into Zoli Modeling Agency, big modeling agency. And again, I just walked in and I go, I'm here, I want to model. That's the laugh. I'm like, dude, I had a good look when I was younger. I had a good look. And he goes, you got a day job? I go, yeah, I work at the bank. He goes, hang on to that. So I'm thinking, I'm going to hang on to it. No, he meant, get out of here. But that's just the way it goes, because I was too big. And I didn't have a model, that look. But I'm just a big fan of just figure out your own way to get it done, because nobody really knows. We don't know. We got to figure out many ways to get in. But always be respectful, never lie. And you got to read the room. I mean, it's a lot of stress when I used to go. I used to crash auditions in Hollywood, too. Should I say that? Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, tell us the story too.
I got a lot of stories, but we don't have time. I used to go on commercial things. And I would walk in the commercial office. I did this thing. Good for you, Frank. I used to go into the offices and see what they were doing. Since I played high school and college ball, I was decent. Not a professional, but you don't have to be a professional to do commercials that use professionals. You just have to be really proficient. So I would go see, I saw one was a Gatorade football. Wait a minute. I thought my agent didn't tell me about that. Well, it don't matter, Frank. Just tell him. Listen, I played college ball. I did try out in Buffalo, New England. I didn't make it. I didn't get anywhere. I just tried out for one day on each one. But I can still run pretty fast. I don't have an appointment, but I did play college football. I think I can do this. It would be okay if I read. You know what they always say? Yeah. It was a Gatorade for the Olympics and a lot longer, and I got it. I used to do that all the time. I used to crash things that I was right for, but be professional about it. And then some people get upset about it. And then I used to look at what was going on and find out what I might be right for, and I kind of walk in. The only problem with that is it's a lot of stress, because you don't want to say the wrong thing. You see, so it's tricky. As far as while you're here, you can always, whatever I'm casting, you can always send a headshot and resume, because you guys are here, to the website. You can send it to frank@frankrossi.com if I'm casting something. I'll look at them. Okay, I would definitely look at them. I look at everybody I can, okay, but I don't ask for thousands, if that makes sense. You just don't have the time. So I'm always open to somebody that can really act, and I do not care where they come from. Other people that teach acting here, I bring them in all the time. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Anything? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned agents. Like I look around the room and I know several people here just from being extras on whatever came to Buffalo or through improv or whatever classes. What agents? How do we approach an agent? And who are the agents in Buffalo? Because I talked to a lot of people, and while there's like one or two names pop up, but who's the go-to person in Buffalo?
Darlene Hummer does a lot of stuff here. She's a wonderful
Do we
lady.
just cold call her, or what's the?
I don't know. I think I gave you 5 stories of what I did.
Use
Use your charm. You're a very pretty lady. I didn't have that.
That doesn't really work because I sent 3 things around 3 different occasions for 3 different projects and I heard nothing. So I need another approach because that's not working for me.
Well, I can tell you what I teach my actors because I have and I've been here 13 years, 14 years. In Rochester, I teach like 62 actors a week. They just say, they put in the subject box, Frank Rossi, RV guy, and then the agents I work with take them seriously. I mean, that's what it is.
So-
Well, that
Oh,
wouldn't be you because you're not
for-
one of my students.
No, I was just trying to.
So if you're not one of my
I was just
students, because
saying.
I like Darlene. She's great. I like Lori Lynn from New York Model Talent out of Rochester. I like AMS from Syracuse, Rochester, Albany. I like Talent Group and Doherty out of Pittsburgh. They're great. Those are the go-to people. That's what we do. And then you got casting people that I work with. There's Carol Solinsky out of Rochester. Unbelievably wonderful lady, great talented lady. Gotta look up casting directors, Rochester, agents, Buffalo. There's not a ton of stuff in Buffalo. You know, the films are here. There's more coming. I guess that's why I'm here. Keeps asking about casting. But there'll be other casting people that'll do stuff in Buffalo too. I'm not the only one that'll do a movie. I like to stick with the bigger stuff because it's more, I just like that. But that's what I would suggest. You got to look up the people online and see what they do. But then they have their people that they use. You got to have a great headshot. Do you have a great headshot?
I think so.
Where's it from?
Luke Copy. In Buffalo, Luke Copy.
Luke Coffee. Is that a guy?
Copy. COPPING.
That's the guy's name? I can look at it for you. Because I'm sure there's some people here that are great. I don't know them. So if anybody knows anybody that's a great photographer, I'd be happy to send the people I have to the people here. But I'm just being honest. If they're great, I'll send it to them. The guy today, he comes in, he keeps the price down, and I'll give him the business so that my people save the money. I'm not a dummy. And I'll charge him extra for, you know what I mean? You gotta take care, that's kind of what I have, that reputation. Just take care of the actors, because I know what it's like to struggle. Okay, so, I don't know, I can take a look at it for you. Anything else?
What is the price range you expect to pay for headshots?
I just told you, $275, 2 looks, including hair and makeup. Do yourselves a favor. This guy came into town today. His name is Eric Mull, M-U-L-L. First name E-R-I-C. Look at his website. Look at everybody else's website and decide on your own. See what I mean? That's how there's some people that are good. There's really good people. If they can't get like this guy killed it today. He's got this gorgeous camera. He's been doing it 20 years. He's shot about 25,000 people. He's a big photographer, but again, he keeps the price down. And I like to do. That's the way we like to do it. You know what I mean? I like him to do it that way.
How often do actors update their headshot?
Every couple of years. But you got to have a really good headshot. I can't stress that more. I think I've said that 52 times. Right, Cassandra?
Exactly.
Well, you have a beautiful headshot.
Thanks. And speaking of that, I've got two good headshots, and
Well, we can look at those.
that's exactly what I wanted to see if that could.
Yeah. Who'd you shoot with?
Well, I didn't shoot a professional photographer after finding out the price. Again.
Here's the other thing, guys. Let me interject there. If you have a great headshot, I don't care where that comes from. Who cares? As long as you have it. Doesn't matter where.
I just make sure that there's nobody else in the background or not a single.
Well, look, I don't want to talk about that. A professional headshot is a professional headshot. Okay? We all know what they look. Well, maybe not. You have to know what they look like. Okay? Because you want to, even though we're in Buffalo, we still want headshots that are comparable to New York and LA. And we can get, and people are doing it. So there's no reason you guys can't. All right? Okay, is that it? Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
If somebody's casting for certain roles, like you want a woman,
Back to casting.
this age, whatever, like, do you
If I
just
wasn't
look at
casting,
the
I wouldn't be
ages?
here. What's that?
Do you look at the ages and say, oh, I'm not actually in that age range, so I should not bother? Or if you think maybe you could pull it off, you let them decide? Like, what do
Every
you do?
actor thinks they can play everybody, myself included. I can still play 25. People believe that, don't they? All of us do. I know it. I'm talking as an actor. We always think we can play everybody. We did my first. We did White Men Can't Jump, and I got to play one of the two bad guys in that movie. I'm not kidding you. That's how dumb I was. I thought I could play Woody's part. I wanted to read for Woody's part. I'm serious. Good thing I didn't tell anybody. Except my roommate. I know what it's like. We all think we can do everything. But no, if you don't know where you belong, that's not good. You have to know what age you can play. And then another thing, which I didn't like on Marshall or Colebrook, when somebody shows up and they don't look like their headshot, bad. Or they show up, I don't know, maybe you guys can answer this. Why would you come on an audition with your headshot in one hand and your resume in the other? Can anybody answer that for me? Matt? Not that he does, but I don't get that. Staple your headshot to the resume. Oh, I don't have it. I forgot my head. What? I can't tell you how many times. I'm telling you, it gets me aggravated when I see that. I don't have a headshot. I forgot my headshot. Oh, I was supposed to bring a headshot? Always bring a headshot, staple it. Now here's another thing. When you got your sides, some people like to have sides not stapled. Okay? Some people like to have the sides in their hand. I've been auditioning 30 years. If it's stapled, you don't drop it. You can flip it. If it's not stapled, you drop the page, you just lost your audition. So I say staple your sides, highlight your character and your dialogue, bring your headshot and resume, and you're good. If you don't, I can tell you, when one guy came in, his hair was bleached. And I'm looking for this guy. Oh. Well, then when I was calling you in, why didn't you tell me that your hair was bleached? I can't read you. I'll never see him again. Never. You only have so much time, especially when the pressure's on when they're here from LA, and you get 3 weeks to cast it. Mm-hmm. So it gets tough. So that's kind of. I'm only here because of the casting.
Your wealth of information, taking it all in. So
Only
put it that way.
I got one question.
Yes.
Production oriented. Fundraising for independent filming. What is the best resources or top resources
Yeah.
or common resources?
What's that thing that they have online? GoFundMe. What's the other one? Indiegogo.
Kickstarter?
What's that?
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter?
Crowdfunding.
I would do that.
So the crowdfunding is for indies mostly.
Yeah, unless you can find somebody to do it. But here's the thing, guys. There isn't one person in here that has a project that can't get it done if you meet the right person in the right situation. You understand what I'm saying? There is no set rule. Greg, you can meet somebody tomorrow to do it. And maybe it'll be great. Or you can never meet anybody. Welcome to the world of Hollywood. I mean, think about it. You're trying to get money to do your film. What's the challenge on films? There's no guarantee of anything. So a lot of people go, wait a minute, I can make 8% here guaranteed. What can you guarantee? Nothing. Uh-oh. See my point? I had a couple guys, one person raised $50,000 on Kickstarter in LA, one of my guys, at 25 years old, did his own short film. Got all these awards for it. Okay. It's extremely difficult. There's no set way to do it, and I don't have the answer. Except you got to have a great story. I know that's a fact. You have to have a story, and you have to be able to pitch it in a minute and a half or 2 minutes at the most. Like I was pitching the Bull in the Ring thing. You got to be able to pitch like that with the other, the people that could help you with that. the Christian-based movies, because that's what a lot of the stuff I like, is Christian. It's almost like if you're going to say a message, make it subtle. Don't hit people over the head with what you want to say. This is a Christian film festival, right? So I can use Jesus' name, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Especially.
the best writer ever and the best guy with subtext was Jesus. If you think about it. So it's kind of cool. You're right. We said something about you can get every story you want in the Bible. Who said that? One of you guys said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
brilliant. It is. Everything's in the Bible, but what did the Lord used to do? Give a parable. Always made you think. Always talked with subtext. Never said what he really meant. He let you go get it by the way he's put it there to you. Well, I mean, we can't write like him, but you can try. So I use that a lot. You know what subtext is, guys? Subtext is what's really going on underneath, not the lines. Nobody ever says what they mean. It's all the subtext. That's why. Yeah, it's that's what acting's all about too. Subtext, not just you don't hit people over the head. Same with the Christian-based things. Don't go right at them. Although the Passion of Christ went pretty much at it. But that was a brilliant movie. So I was fortunate. I used to work with Jimmy Caviezel when he was younger back in LA.
Was that the Christ?
Yeah, the Christ. That Christ movie, yeah. Anything else?
Can you quickly weigh in on, for those of us who are SAG eligible, is it still, we don't need to be worried about that in a small market like Buffalo? Because I did notice that for Coldbrook, they were looking for SAG.
For Coldbrook, we were looking for SAG extras. Being a member of SAG myself for a long time, you always go to the SAG people first, which makes sense. So I'll always see SAG actors first. Sorry, it's the way it is. And it's the way it should be. On the extras, you always go to the SAG actors first.
Is it a tipping point for Buffalo, though, and the surrounding markets to spend the money?
No, you don't need to direct SAG.
Okay.
There's 5 people in Marshall that I cast that aren't in SAG. But they're great. Don't have to be in SAG to do SAG projects. You don't need to join SAG until you need to join SAG. That means you have to do 3 jobs. On the 4th one, you have to join. So if you do 3 SAG gigs under the SAG voucher, you guys understand that with the extra work, right? Then on that 4th one, you have to join. So if you're SAG eligible, you got to be careful how many jobs you do, because they might say you're a must join. So as a casting director, when I have to call SAG for station 12. Anybody ever hear that? That means I have to call, what's your first name? You, man? Linda. So if I say, what's your last name?
Macy.
If I say, okay, I'm checking Linda Macy. Linda Macy, what's her status? I'll give them your SAG number. Even if you're SAG eligible, you have a SAG number. And they'll say she's clear to work. Or she'll say she's a must join.
Oh, so that's where the trouble can, if you're not, and you
It's not trouble, I do it. And if you're a must join, you're joining or we're not using it.
Okay. Well, I've run into that problem, so that's fine.
What do you mean you run into what problem?
Well, yeah, when they were worried about, like, how many projects.
Right. We have to call on you.
Okay.
Because SAG finds us if we don't call. Which I agree with 100%. So we just follow rules. So that's what SAG eligible is. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming. Anything else? Any final questions? Yeah. I'm only here because of the cast. There's always good projects coming up. That's all I'll say. Okay. So you're actually doing one. You don't make a comment. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot coming to Buffalo. We got a great mayor. Great mayor. We got Tim Clark and Rich Ball with the Film Commission. Phenomenal. So all of these people working together on the Film Commission with the mayor's office, the governor's office with the tax credits. That is why everybody's coming here. Okay? And it's going to continue for the future, I would say, for the foreseeable future. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming here. Deservingly so. Buffalo is a great place to shoot with a great substructure of people. Starting with the mayor, we just love that guy. He just takes care of everybody. You know, in our film market, he's really great for Buffalo. And so are the film commissioner guys. Those guys they're just phenomenal at what they do. That's why this is happening. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Have a good
Thank you, Frank Rossi. www.glcff.com. Come out. We got an award ceremony tonight at 8, but from now until then, a bunch of shorts and features. So come check us out.
We're gonna have this shown somewhere.